nightmare scenario develops on a hospital ward. Paul McGann and Amanda Donohoe star in the psychological thriller Paper Mask. Next Thursday's Film on 4 premiere at 10 o'clock.
The Mystery Train takes Jim Jarmusch to Memphis.
Oh, where am I? Jerry Lee Lewis.
I feel a little discombobulated.
Yes, I know the feeling.
Take the Mystery Train for that Jarmusch feeling. Sunday at 10 on 4.
The swiftness of the hand deceives the eye. Next on 4, but whose? Kasparov and Short play speed chess, game number 3.
Flukily. Luckily. Grudgingly. Sick as apparently. Famously smooth. Tetley.
India, only 9 hours away.
The sound of a generation, going underground. 20 definitive tracks from the bands that made the difference. Going underground, out now.
I'll show her who's boss. If I want to go to football, I shall go to football. I'm not staying in with her exercise video and the Tom Jones records. And she can keep her British gas fire with its warm, cosy glow and its controllable, comforting, homely, cuddly. What's new, pussycat?
I thought you were going to football.
What? A missing evening with Tom? Don't you just love being in control?
Years of Diana Ross. One woman, the ultimate collection.
And Mansell takes the lead, but with Cooper at the pit stop.
Fine win, Nigel. Any hairy moments?
Oh, yeah, for a moment back there, I almost forgot the whole meal.
When Sharp asked us to try out their new view cam, naturally we jumped at the chance. This screen's a great idea because you don't end up stuck behind a viewfinder. You can point it just about anywhere, so you don't miss any of the fun. I found I could even film myself. And with the ViewCam's instant playback, we all enjoyed what I'd shot before we flew off. The Sharp ViewCam's so easy to use. I can, you can, we can, ViewCam.
double Dutch. Director Paul Verhoeven on sex and violence, and actor Rutger Hauer on film. Boy George jamming with French living legend Yvette Horner, and what a close shave in Berlin really means. A final mountain of Eurotrash.
A film Hollywood dared not do. The British network television premiere of Leslie Harris's Just Another Girl on the IRT.
People be tripping when they find out how smart I really am.
Made in the USA.
Transatlantic Culture tomorrow on 4.
As the British National Party scores its first local election success on the Isle of Dogs, Dispatches asks how is the Bengali community fighting back. That's in 35 minutes. First on 4, the moves are coming thick and fast in the Times Speed Chess Challenge.
Some days when you come to the board and you don't see anything at all, and I think today was one of those days for me, which my mind was a total blank. I was looking at the chess pieces like I had never seen them before, so it was not a very good day for me.
Nigel Short speaking there on Tuesday after he'd just lost the second speed chess game against the world champion Garry Kasparov. Well, good evening for almost the last time from the Savoy Theatre. Game 3 in the Speed Chess Challenge took place this afternoon. Now, having lost the first 2 games, Nigel Short desperate for a draw. Otherwise, the chances of a whitewash for Garry Kasparov would be a distinct possibility. Well, with me in the studio are 3 grandmasters, Raymond Keane, Daniel King and John Spielman, and we'll be talking to these gentlemen a little later in the programme and also to both players. But first, let's just have a quick recap on the rules. These are they. Each player has 20 minutes in which to make all of his moves. If he runs out of time or he's checkmated, he loses. Now, let's go back to the beginning of play today. Kasparov playing white.
Well, let's play predictor move. I predict 1e4, Daniel.
Well, I think d4. I think Kasparov's going to play d4.
Any other takers?
But Ray, you think e4?
Carol says b4.
b4. And what's the name of that opening? No, it's the orangutan.
Oh, that's right.
Well, let's see.
Same thing.
Waiting for knight f3.
Ah.
Oh, we were all wrong.
Oh, this could be a Reti opening.
So he's just making Nigel think something completely
D5.
different. d5.
c4. Yes, it's a Reti opening so far.
But I think we're going to transpose into a Queen's Gambit.
Yes, Richard Reti was a grandmaster of the 1920s who virtually invented wing openings where you didn't move the central pawns to start with, attacked from the edge. Now, if he plays a move like b3, no, he's going to a Queen's Gambit.
We've transposed into a Queen's Gambit.
Forget Richard Reti, it's a Queen's Gambit. And it's going to be a mainline orthodox Queen's Gambit. Very interesting.
So black can take this pawn off, that's the gambit, but white would recover it very easily just by moving this pawn up here or maybe to here and then taking the pawn with the bishop.
But Kasparov will probably play bishop g5 here.
So Nigel has played knight to d7 in this position before, but the normal move is bishop e7, just developing the bishop and preparing to castle.
Yeah, and I think Kasparov will then put his queen's bishop on g5. Which is a variation he's played a lot.
But he's also played the bishop to f4 a great many times.
Yes, that's true. Yes, he does like that move as well. But what's Short got here apart from bishop e7?
Well, knight bd7 he played in his match against Gelfand.
That's true.
With pretty good results actually.
So
that's a possibility.
He won. But
now
he's taken it.
The pawn
pawn takes pawn.
Well, this can lead to a very sharp variation. If Kasparov plays the pawn to e4, Nigel can then bring the bishop out to b4, and I believe this is known as the Vienna variation.
Well, it's been played a lot in the FIDE championship match between Timman and Karpov. Timman's been playing this as black, Karpov as white. And on the whole, in theory, black's done well, but in practice, white's tended to win the games. I wonder whether Kasparov's been looking at those games.
I think to get anything from the opening, white really must play the pawn up to e4. And then bishop takes pawn. But there's oodles of theory on this variation. Many games have been played recently. It's really the assessment of the variation is still in doubt.
Oh, queen a4 check. Oh, he's avoiding the main lines.
He's avoiding a theoretical discussion, and he's just playing safe, giving a check to the king, and after the check is blocked, he will simply recapture the pawn on c4 with his queen. That's a very safe way of playing the position.
Psychologically very clever too, because he's probably, Nigel's boned up on these games between Timon and Karpov. And this is a neat way of avoiding all the theory and any preparation, because this is a virtually unexplored position. Or it will become a virtually unexplored position. This is one reason, by the way, why the Queen's Gambit isn't a true gambit in the sense that you sacrifice a pawn, because there's usually, in fact invariably, this move Queen to a4 check that gets the pawn back at once. So, whereas the King's Gambit is a true gambit where you offer a pawn e4, e5, f4, black can take it. The Queen's Gambit, white can always take the pawn back instantly if he wants to. And that's what Kasparov's doing here.
So Short must decide how to parry the check. Now, he's got to think of a way that doesn't block the future development of his pieces, or at least keeps the harmony in his position. I don't like, for instance, I don't like bishop d7. Knight d7 is much stronger.
I think that's the best move.
Yeah, because what he's trying to do is, later on, his bishop will come out to this diagonal, and the knight is on a good square on d7.
Now e4. So he's giving himself the option of taking on c4 either with the queen or the bishop on f1. I don't think I've ever seen this position before. I think have you ever seen this position before, Daniel?
Well, I have actually, yeah.
Oh, really? You've had it one of your games, have you?
I haven't, no.
Pawn to a6. Where did you see it?
I can't remember. It's been played in a few games. So black would like to play the pawn up to b5, but at the moment that pawn can be taken off by a knight because of the pin down towards the rook.
So white could in fact play bishop takes c4 here.
Bishop c4 is possible.
And if b5, you just play bishop takes b5.
That's right. But not... Yes, bishop takes is possible.
But if he takes with the queen on c4 now, queen a4 takes c4, can we see that? Surely black can just play b5 with a very free position.
b5,
chasing
and then
the queen
queen
away.
back, and then bishop b7.
Bishop
It's
b7,
possible, attacking the pawn. Let's play bishop
he's
takes.
taking with the bishop. That's
looks
much
like
more
a better
aggressive.
move.
Yes. And now if b5...
If b5, you can simply capture
it off.
that with the bishop.
Bishop takes b5, and you can't recapture because of the pin against black's queen's rook on a8.
So Kasparov has established this beautiful pawn centre. That's rather imposing. It means that these pawns control all of these four central squares. So somehow, Short must try to knock down these two pawns to
There's a
find
rather
some
nasty
squares.
threat here, isn't there? Rather nasty, just pawn e4 to e5.
Pawn to e5, yeah, attacking the knight. So what's Nigel going to play?
And the knight's got no really good square to go to after that.
I didn't actually like this pawn move to a6. I think it would have been better to play the pawn up to c6, and then it would have been possible to play the pawn to b5. So, John, has this position ever been seen before? I must admit,
Well, I had a game with Keith Arkle in it, yes, at the last round of the zonal tournament.
Reaching this position?
Yes, yeah, I'm trying to remember what happened next.
Were you white or black?
I was black, and I managed to draw fairly easily, but it is possible for it. I certainly
did you
didn't
play
do that.
C6?
Certainly not, no.
See, I think Nigel should have played that on the last move.
This looks like a Swiss cheese formation to me now. Black's got this pawn structure on the quito, c6, b7, a6, all of the same colour squares, and with holes on d6 and b6, weak squares on d6 and b6. We see d6 and b6? Yeah, that's right. It just looks like a Swiss cheese to me.
Ray King coming back to his favourite topic, food. Kasparov opening there with the Queen's Gambit. So, John, what should we pick up with Fritz now
Sure,
on
yes.
Kasparov's 8th move?
Yes, the Emmental proved to be quite edible. He moved his queen away, and now it would have been possible for Short to play b5 here, and if the bishop then had gone back to d3, we would have actually reached a completely normal theoretical position out of the Queen's Gambit Meran variation. they're very elastic, these lines, but instead Short played a slightly passive move. And after they'd both castled, Kasparov played a4, which stops this move b7 to b5, expanding on the queen's side. So Short had to, he fianchetted his queen's bishop, but only one square. And this position is rather nice for white, because he's got a diagonal here, going towards h7. He's got chances of occupying the c-file, and he's got space in general. The e5 pawn is nice. Kasparov developed, and this is a good move by Short, he's got to fight for control of this square. Carried on, the rook came over, knight came back, trying to get back into the game. The bishop came up, knight, queen. Kasparov has a clear advantage here, but on the other hand, if Short can swap pieces successfully, then he has reasonable chances. Rook opposed the c-line, and this is an excellent move, because now if Short captures on c3, then Kasparov can capture back with the b pawn, after which he'll be controlling this vital square, which will give him a big structural advantage.
So you would say that Kasparov had the advantage at this point?
Yes, he has the advantage. He has control of the c-file, he has space. Rather unpleasant for Short, but there are ways to fight as well, I think.
OK, well, after the break, the end of Game 3, some analysis of today's play and a word from both players. We'll see you in a couple of minutes.
Halfords Autumn Specials now on. Castrol GTX only £6.99. Autolock Security now £5 off. Save on all child seats up to £10 off. This long wheelbase 2-ton trolley jack, save £5. And Halfords cycle light set down to only £12.99. All at Halfords now.
Because we believe in farmhouse cheeses that are handmade on farms. Because the richest flavors come from natural maturing. Because we believe the best judge of our cheese to be a man and not a machine. The Farmhouse Cheesemakers. Cheeses handmade on the farm.
Jeff, love, fancy a cup of tea?
Oh, yes, please, Shell. That'll be lovely.
I wonder if the connoisseur will notice it's PG Tips granules.
I hope not. It was the end of the world when we changed his old slippers.
Pure PG Tips, brewed to perfection, then freeze-dried to capture all the PG Tips taste.
Your favourite cup of tea, just the way you like it.
Ah, thanks, love. Disgusting! That was never a goal. Lovely cup of tea, love.
Mum, can Chloe stay for tea?
I bet Dad'll want one now.
It's not my birthday, is it?
It's not your birthday, is it?
British pork. Take a fresh look.
Some sources of vitamin E you slice. Some you grind. This one you spread. Flora, a good source of vitamin E.
The Renault 19. Touch it, and you're tempted.
We want your business to get more from communications.
Prove it.
Our latest ideas are as close as your BT shop. And remember, your BT account manager's advice is as close as the phone. To find out more, call us now on BT free phone 0800 800 800. BT, we want your business.
Last time we saw on Fritz Kasparov's excellent 18th move, where he moved his rook up to c3. Let's rejoin the game now with Nigel Short considering his reply, Ray and Daniel commentating.
Nigel Short, just 10 minutes left, and Kasparov 2 more minutes in hand.
And he's under pressure. Rook c3 was a good move, because Short would love to exchange the rooks to relieve pressure.
He's played knight c7, hitting the bishop on b5.
As I was saying, Nigel would love to exchange rooks on c3, but Kasparov could simply recapture with the pawn.
Bishop d3. And now queen takes b6, must be a threat. So bishop b4, surely now must be seriously worth consideration. Yes, he's played it.
So he's going to try to exchange some pieces here. That's a good move.
Now, are there any sacrifices here? Can Kasparov ignore his rook on c3 in some way? And what about bishop takes a7 check? Is that possible?
Bishop h7. Wow.
Can we see that?
Bishop h7, king takes.
Knight g5
Knight
check.
g5 check. And then king back.